What's up, guys? It's Mike again from BavhausTV. Today we got ourselves a F26 M40i. We noticed that there wasn't much about the F26 in terms of taking apart the interior. This truck is in here itself to get carbon fiber trim done on the inside, so we're just going to do some quick how-tos on how to take out these door cards, kind of just film the process of us putting this trim in. So let's get to it. Alright, so we're going to start off with the passenger side. We'll record all four doors, but some of the key places we're going to be focusing on is specifically this cover behind, or this cover for the speaker, this handle itself, and then underneath there's a couple points. You can see here we already removed the trim. Don't go ripping at this trim because it is held in by two screws here, and it does have a lot of other clips. So in order to remove this trim, we had to find out the hard way. You have to take the door panel off, and that's the case with all four doors. So I'm gonna go grab some tools. I'll let you know what we need in a second, but let's get into that now. So if you're doing any kind of interior trim work, you should probably have a set of these. These are just, trim tools, plastic, so they're not marring. First thing you're gonna want to do is grab, an appropriate tool. This one might not be the best for this, so let me kind of look through. You want a really thin one. This one might be it. You kind of want to get behind the speaker thing, and it's kind of a tough thing to be pulling out, so. There we go. So once you kind of get it going a little bit, it's all just held in by clips. It comes out pretty easy. Alright, and then you got a plug. You're just going to disconnect the plug, and now that's free. And if you look back here, there's one of the bolts that you need to remove, so that's why we're removing this. Next thing you're going to go after that's also just going to be held in is going to be this handle. There is going to be more hardware behind the handle, and you can see the handle actually breaks into two parts. So I think the bottom is probably your best place to start with this. And it doesn't seem like this wants to come. I remember when I did the disassembly, it seemed very difficult until the clips actually finally pop, so don't be nervous about it. And make it here like that. There we go. Once you get it up here, you should be able to pop the whole thing off. And then it's going to be held in by clips, and there's a hook on the end. So with the hook, you're going to want to pull out this way. As you can see, this is going to go back in like this first and then on. So don't break this. That's what it looks like. It sits right over that. And you have these four clips that hold it in place. That's what makes it difficult. Sounds like it's going to break. Obviously it didn't. So behind there, you're going to have two more screws. One in this deep hole here. And then if you go down, follow it, there's another hole here right underneath the window switch. And then after that, you should have two underneath. One here and one here on either side of that door panel light. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws to remove this door card. And I believe they're T25s. I'm going to double check that now, and I'll get right back. So it is a T20 actually, and we threw it on a 1/4 inch extension on a 1/4 inch ratchet. I'm going to start with the top one, not for any particular reason, but so you can see. There you go, and you can see this is like a tapping screw. It's medium length. So just put that aside. Start going after the other ones. These you kind of want to see, or you'll be putting them in We're putting the tool in a million times until you actually finally find it. So we'll just start there. All right, same thing. Put it aside. Move on to the next one. This one's pretty deep back. Alright, and now you just want to do the two on the bottom, which I believe they kind of go up on an angle. Kind of hard to see since they're so low. I'll have to get my head under there. Alright. Yeah, so they're kind of up at an angle like this. So they're not directly straight at it, and they're not directly straight up, kind of on the 45. And on this card, I believe all of these bolts are the same. Screws. I'm not sure if that's the case with all of them, but this one does only have the 5, I believe. And then once you get this one out, you can start going after the door clips. There's going to be a ton of them all around the door. The way we're going to do that is by grabbing one of our larger wedges and finding a spot underneath the door panel where I can kind of get it in, hold it back, and then pull with my hand. And then just walk your hands around the card. So I put like a thumb against the door and then my fingers underneath and then pull up. And then the last one will be right around here on both sides. So once you got that all figured out, what you're going to want to do is lift over this locking mechanism right here. And you're going to do that by pulling out to remove from these and up to remove from this. So kind of like an out and up motion. Now you have some things you have to remove. In this case, I'm actually probably not going to remove anything. I'm just going to let the door hang because I only need this space here to actually reinstall the trim. So that's how I'm going to leave it. If you want to remove this, you'll have to pull this out here just by simply popping this out of place, and that's going to release the handle. Then remove it from all the little places it's held in place, like here, here, and here. And then on the other end, you have some connectors here, which you'd probably leave this with the door, so you'd remove this. And then here, you'd probably want to chase the door harness, and this is connected to like your window switch. And then on this end is going to be your handle and a couple other things. So that this stuff stays with this. This speaker stays with the car. This would stay with the door. So that's one door. We're just going to let that hang like that. Everything lines up nice. So now we're going to come to the rear door. And this one's going to be a little different. So again, we're going to pull this handle off. And I believe we're going to go after this speaker cover. But I think there's only one screw on the bottom. Yep. So there's one screw right to the left of that bottom light, and maybe two here and then another one up here. So you're looking at, I think, 4 screws in the back. So let me grab the same trim tools and get at it the same way. Alright, so back here this isn't going to have a switch with it, so you just stick this, probably this is your best angle because you have the most room to play with it. And you can see it's got these types of clips. So you kind of pry out this one and then these just come straight out. Really easy. And you have one of your T20s right back there. Again, we're going to be going after this outer handle that's, you know, kind of difficult to pry off. So just kind of want to find some spots to release those spring style clips without doing any damage. Honestly, it's probably best to put one in there and then come from the top. Like that. and again, out like this once the clips are released, and then pull out towards yourself. It's gonna be the same as the front, and you have the same 2 screws here. So now you have these 2 revealed, the top one revealed, and the one on the bottom is always revealed. So I'm gonna start by removing them. So I think this one in the rear is actually going to be silver and longer than the other ones. I might need a magnet to grab it. It doesn't seem like it wants to come out. It'll just be so long that I'm not there yet. So it doesn't want to come out, so I'm going to leave it there, and we're actually going to pull it off of the door. I can tell it's off now. Okay, now I'm going to go after this one. Again, it's very deep in there. It's a little hard to find the exact spot that it comes out. Alright, oh, dropped it. There you go. It's another one of those black ones. Put that down. Move on to our last one, which on this one is right about here. Again, this one should be on that like same 45-degree angle. A little hard for me to find that angle from up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, another one of the black ones. And I know this one's loose. It just doesn't want to come out because the plastic's gripping it, but whatever it seats into isn't gripping it. I just can't get it. So I can either grab it with a magnet, but it's a little bit of a tight space, so I'm just going to pull the door off and retrieve it after. We're going to grab that big wedge again and put it underneath. I like to start at the bottom, so if there is any potential for damage, it's not going to be in a spot where it's going to be seen or noticed. Not that that's how you should work, but it's always good to be preventative. Alright. And just start pulling on the sides again. And then same thing up here. Pull out, up. So this one actually came with the window trim. You can see like one of these is left behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove it from here, put it back on the door, and then I'm going to put the door back on that way. Same thing kind of in the back with the handle. If you choose to remove it, pull this back, chase it out. These you can pull the harness with the door, and this speaker harness again stays with the door card itself. So now we're going to go do the same thing on the other side of the car. Since all 4 door panels need to come off, it's going to be the same thing that we just filmed, so we're just going to zoom through it and get ready for this carbon fiber trim install. Alright, so now we're on the driver's side. It's going to be the same kind of thing where this is going to come out right here to reveal one of the screws. So we're going to want to get underneath a little bit of everything. This might be the hardest one to do out of all of them. The driver and passenger front, just because it's something you have to get behind that doesn't really like to have, like the tolerances are pretty thin. So definitely use plastic wedges here. I wouldn't go screwing around with metal tools. You will definitely damage it. So just them being non-marring is your best bet. Let's see, let's find a good spot to stick this thing in. There we go. So you by putting pressure forward into it, you kind of start pushing it out. So that's just the easiest way to go about it. Again, just one of these that you just pull. There's nothing to release the clip or the plug. Just pull on it. You have your T20 right behind the switch. gonna remove that. The driver's side's a little different because you obviously don't have that long handle. So what's hidden here is actually this piece needs to come out. So the way you take this out is by putting your finger behind it and pulling it up. And now you have released it. And then behind there, there's gonna be, I believe, two. Yeah, there's two T20s, one here and one here that you're gonna go after. So this one's gonna have 2, 4, 5, and 6. Or no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sorry. So let me go after those now. These kind of go up at an angle to make them a little easier. So they're not a pain to get out. And then the same as all the other ones. Like that. Here's the second one. And then we have the 2 on the bottom. Alright, so just like that, got the last 2 out. And now we're gonna grab our wedge again. Go underneath the door card, pop a clip, and now walk around with your hands. Alright, so just like that. And now lift. Pull first and then lift. And then, again, everything's released. These are the clips that you're actually pulling on. You can see that they have these little grommets behind. Make sure that when you put them back, they're there, or the door panel will be very loud. I think I heard one of mine fall. So yeah, that's how you do the driver front. Driver rear is gonna be the same as the passenger rear. There's any differences, so we're just gonna go ahead and put this in through that one. Again, coming at this end here, I'm gonna pull this out, reveals the 1 T20 here. Alright. There we go. Go after this door handle now. Again, pull it out towards you. Get the 2 more behind here. This is going to be the long silver one on both the rears only. I wasn't able to show you on the other one because it stayed with the panel. But maybe this one will come out. I can show you the difference. It's going to do the same thing. It wants to stay with the door. So when we pull the door panel off, we'll just retrieve it after. And I'll give you a look as to what that one looks like. This one is the deep one. Hard to find the exact spot to put this thing. Get up there. There we go. Alright, there we go. And then you have the 1 more on the bottom. It's going to be to the right of the light underneath the panel. And then the only thing we have to do now, before we have all 4 of the door cards off, is just get underneath. pull again on our clips. Oh, see, there it goes. So this is a long silver one that goes into the top of the rears. This is the one that comes in here. It's only in the rears. There's two of them, one for each side. Alright. So the best way is to actually pull towards the outside of the door and then pull up over the lock mechanism. So just like that, all four door cards are off. Nothing's broken. Everything came off the way it should. The only thing is the other side that stayed with the door. So I'm actually gonna go take care of that now. Take this off the door panel, put it back on the door so all four doors are uniform and ready to be done. So I put all these clips back here from removing them by sliding them off of this piece. And now this piece is, straight, not misshapen. It has these rubber wings on it that you want to go behind these pieces. So you probably want to start on like an angle where you can get them behind, something like that, and then clip it down into place. And you're gonna have to make sure that this rubber on all the ends, it's like these little wings, go underneath all the trim pieces so that it fits nice and the window will roll up and down nicely. So like right there, and then right there. So just like that, we're good. And now when I'm gonna go put this door panel on, I'm just gonna clip it back on. So nice and easy. We're just waiting on trim now, so we'll get back once we have our trim. All right, so we just got our full interior trim set back with a custom carbon fiber overlay. This thing is really nice, it's really well done. I'm super excited to install it. So this is the piece that actually goes over the glove box. This just pulls out like that. You want to stick a piece of or a trim tool underneath it, pry up, and it releases this. So up and out. We didn't get to film that being removed. This is the center console trim piece. You're gonna start in the back, lift it out, and then pull it out. You can see all the different clip points all around it. So those are what you're gonna be going after to remove it. And then these are your door panel trims. As you can see, there's two T20s in the back, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 clips, and also one of those directional tabs. So when you remove it, you're gonna actually pull out. So the door panel has to come off for you to get these two T20s out, and then you still have to pull it out and up the same way you do. And that'll be the same across all of them. You can see with the JB Weld, I had to learn the hard way, but there was no information online, so we had to sacrifice one of each on each side. So, but I'm super happy with how this came out. I don't know if you can see how that reflects the light. That's awesome. So let's get to it. I'm probably gonna start with the center console and the glove box. So let's go over there. So this is our dashboard trim that goes around the airbag area. You can see the 1, 2, 3, 4 places where these clip posts go. And then you have the big one in the center, which is where this piece goes. So what you're gonna do is kind of start on an angle and then get yourself lined up. And once you're lined up, it is kind of forcing it into place, but check that out. Way better than that brushed aluminum that came stock. And this is an X4M40i, so this is an available option. It just did not come in this car, but man, I cannot imagine that be any better. All right, so now I'm gonna move on to the center console trim. So let me get to the other side of the car so you can record it from there. Okay, so this is our trim that's gonna go over all this here. So our iDrive is gonna be screwed in with these 3 T20s first, and then you have this here, which is to the side of the shifter assembly, and that gets screwed in with 2 T20s. So let me go grab that T20 set and get into it. So I'm gonna remove the iDrive simply by pulling on the plug. That's not a plug that has any kind of grip clip. So then I'm gonna take these T20s, there's 3 on the iDrive, and you're gonna put them in place first. I would recommend you remove these 2 pieces and then put them on this center console assembly and then plug them in as you install. It's just gonna be way easier. So just like how I'm doing. These don't have to be crazy tight, just tight enough. So they say German torque spec, good and tight. Which is just finger tight. You see when the ratchet wants to stop like that, that's all it needs. We'll do this. Sport buttons. This has 2 plugs that just get pulled out either direction. And this gets installed. Like this. Again, T20s. Pretty much uniform that everything, you're gonna need this one T20 to take apart the door panels, take apart all these pieces, reinstall all these pieces. It's kind of convenient. That's all you really need, that and the trim tools. So it's not crazy to take all this out. It's not even that time consuming once you know what you're doing. Figuring it out can be pretty time consuming, but hopefully this video will expedite the process for you guys. All right, so now, if you look, you have these 2 hooks up front. These 2 hooks are gonna end up going into these spots up here, and then these various clip points all have little metal retainers that just get pushed down into place as you go along. So the first thing we're gonna do is line it up and get our pieces kinda in. Then we're gonna grab our electrical connectors and plug them in. This will be a little bit difficult to show and do. Start with, oh, I'm putting them in the wrong way maybe. Alright, got one. For some reason the other one doesn't want to go in. Alright, there we go. And then this one is going to go in very easily because it just goes straight up into there. So we're all hooked up. So now we're going to make sure that everything's lined up. The way we're going to do that is kind of by massaging it into place overall. You don't want to get really anything in and force anything in by itself, but check that out. Look at how beautiful that came out. This is pretty cool. I'm happy with this. So that's what our center console looks like now, and that's it. So we're all set here. So now we're gonna actually get these door cards done, and I'll show you how that goes. All right, so same thing, took the T20s out, just gonna guide it into place. Just like that. We're gonna go behind, grab our 2 T20s. One of them gets installed right underneath this little mechanism here. Honestly, probably easier to do these one at a time with a ratchet. This was tight enough. The other one's located underneath here. There you go. We're gonna grab this, make sure we feed it through our hole here. Actually, one of our clips fell off. Alright. So, pull this through here. Lift this up to here. Grab this. Feed it through. I keep losing that thing clip. one keeps going on me. All right, so now that that's in place, just line it up. Get those against the window molding in first, and then you can just start walking around the door panel. All right, now that's done, you can grab this, plug this back in, pull this back. Just like that, in place. Put your screws in. Oh, I think I actually forgot to put that screw in. Up there. So I'll take it back. Give your two at the bottom. More right here. Then you take this piece, put it back in like this, make sure your clips line up, and then just reinstall. I have to go back under here because I forgot to put that T20 up in there, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, so after installing this, we noticed that we had no door handle. So I'm going to show you why that is. And it's just simply from pulling on it, so we removed all our screws again. You only have to pop this corner out over here. And if you look in here, there's this cable here, and this cable has a little retainer. This was out of the retainer, so then you had no, there's no play for the inner door handle. So once you put it in that retainer and go back up here, you can see now it's nice and taut. So that's all that is. Just make sure that's in the right spot. And now we're good. All right, so there's no difference in installing the rears. Same thing, the hook style clip. You have your 1, 2, 3, 4 spring style clips, and then your 2 posts that are gonna have the T20s put in. So just make sure this goes in the right spot. Then just gonna clip it into place, just like that. And then we're gonna go behind it and find our 2 spots where our T20s are gonna go. Where are they going? Okay, one of them's back here, and the other one should be right here. So the front one is gonna be again behind that door cable. So just make sure you have it in the right spot. Right back there. All right, this is that. And it seems like this came unplugged. I'm not quite sure from where. So I'm gonna go look at the other side and see where that exactly came from. So this is actually gonna get plugged in under here. This kind of goes back into this recess here. And that's where it's held. Just like that. Alright. Just likes to come out. Alright. And then, same kind of thing. Just want to get this lined up so that goes into there. You have 2 clips over here on the end that actually come off with the door card, so make sure that they go back on the door and not on the card. You won't be able to get it back on. So just like that. There's one not clipping right there. Yep. All right. Now we're gonna grab our T20s again. You have the large one that goes up here. This is the big silver one. It's only in the rears. You have these smaller black ones that are same on all sides. And it kind of goes to the side. It's not dead center in that hole. Get the cover. Just like that. You have your other T20 that goes down here. Just like that. You got one last one on the bottom. Which I'm gonna have to go around this way for. Alright. And now, all we have to do is get this piece. Again, you have the wing. Goes in like that. Then you're gonna move it, clip that bottom one, and then just follow it up. And now, we're done. I'm gonna go do the same thing on the other side and wrap up this project. So, last piece of door trim, last door card. Get it into place first. Get all of our clips to pop into place. The rears don't fully pop into place like the fronts do. They're a little bit more reliant on the little T20 screws that go in the back. The front kind of sits nicely right off the rip, so to speak. Okay, just like that. Get to the other one. It's gonna be behind here. You're gonna want to draw this one in with this screw. Alright, just double check this one. Alright, you want to make sure that these door latches are in the proper spot. If this falls out, you're not going to catch the door handle. So that has to be in there. Make sure that you have that in the right spot. Okay, so these are what I was talking about on the other side. you want to just pull them out. These are the spring clips that go up here. They sit in one spot. They shouldn't move. There's 2 of them on the end there. So there's definitely a lot of things you kind of want to pay attention to while you're putting these door cards back on, or things won't operate properly after. All right, again, this popped out, so definitely want to make sure that that's in the right spot. Okay. Now I just want to put this back here because this seems to be popping out on me. This keeps popping out too. All right. So now, get this right where you want it. Make sure this is where it's supposed to be. Start lining your pieces up. Take our big silver T20, put it in the top spot. With the inner door handle. Get your lower door handle one. It's a regular black T20 like the rest of them. Get that in. Get your handle. Install your handle. The T20 up top, underneath the speaker cover. Right, and then you got your speaker cover. Has this little tab here. That tab needs to go in a little bevel in here, so in and then like that. Don't go too hard on it. It is like some aluminum mesh. Last one's the screw on the bottom. T20 to the right of the light. And just like that, we're all set. All right, so this is our driver side, driver front piece. So we took the two T20s out of here, and then we're gonna pretty much just pay attention to this post here, which is gonna go into this hole. You have these clips that go into these various holes, but I'm gonna start by putting them in, just like that. You can hear them clip into place, and then you're gonna go behind the door panel, find the 2 spots where they're posted, which one is here. Just like that. And the other one is right behind here. So it's behind this door cable. Take your T20. Tighten it up. And again, this is just gonna go wrist tight. Do the other one. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and finish up this door while we're here. So, grab your cable for switch up here and feed it through. Now you're gonna be lining up pretty much all of your clips. Get like maybe one into place on the opposite side, and then grab your door lock mechanism and feed it through. Oh, she lost the clip there. a bit of juggling, but once you got it lined up, just walk around the door panel, you get all the clips back in, and then just double check that they're all in place. Just like that. Make sure you got your cable here. And now we're just gonna start putting these T20s back in everywhere. We'll start with the one up top, just so I don't lose that cable for any reason. And then you can immediately plug this back in, just like this. You're gonna put it in this way. Like that, push it into place, and you'll be all set. Next we're gonna move on this one. And then there's this one. And then two more on the bottom. Just keep it back in here. Just like that. And last one down here. Alright, so you can see that is way better looking than what was in here before. Alright, so all our trim is installed. Our center console is looking great. Our dash, our door cards could not have gone better. I think this carbon fiber suits the X4 M40i way better than the brushed aluminum trim that the car came with. We ended up removing that trim quite a while ago while this carbon fiber was getting done. So that's why we don't have a before video, but I mean, this definitely is way nicer for this car. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.